What if I told you that some people throughout history have been able to see the future, not in vague, lucky guesses, but in shockingly precise detail? From a writer who seemingly foresaw the Titanic disaster to a scientist who envisioned the internet before computers even existed, these stories will make you question everything. And trust me, you won't believe number one. Stay tuned. In 1898, a little known author named Morgan Robertson published a novel called Futility, or The Wreck of the Titan. In it, he described an unsinkable ship that meets a tragic fate after striking an iceberg in, you guessed it, the North Atlantic. Sound eerily familiar? That's because just 14 years later, the Titanic suffered the exact same fate. But the coincidences don't stop there. Both ships were nearly the same size, carried almost the same number of passengers, and had a terrifyingly similar lack of lifeboats. Even the disaster happened under the same conditions, cold April waters in the North Atlantic. So was Robertson just an imaginative storyteller, or was he tapping into something beyond human understanding? Mark Twain, one of America's greatest literary minds, didn't just predict the future, he predicted his own death. Born in 1835, the same year Halley's Comet made its once every 76-year appearance, Twain had an unsettling theory. He famously declared, "I came in with Halley's Comet and I expect to go out with it." It sounded poetic, sure, but nobody expected what happened next. On April 21st, 1910, just one day after Halley's Comet returned, Twain passed away. A coincidence? Maybe. But how could he have known? Was he in tune with the universe in a way the rest of us aren't? Or was it simply a writer's intuition taken to the extreme? Either way, his eerie foresight continues to baffle historians and skeptics alike. Nikola Tesla, genius, inventor, and possibly a time traveller. Okay, maybe not, but his predictions about technology were so ahead of his time, it's almost hard to believe. Back in the early 1900s, Tesla described a revolutionary concept, a global network of information that anyone could access instantly. Sound familiar? That's because Tesla practically predicted the internet before radio was even common. But it gets crazier. Tesla didn't just foresee the internet, he described devices that fit in your pocket, allowing people to send messages, see images, and access information wirelessly. In other words, smartphones. That's right. Tesla envisioned a world of instant communication, decades before computers even existed. But that's not all. Tesla also predicted self-driving cars. He believed that automobiles would soon be able to operate without a human behind the wheel. In 1898, he even demonstrated a remote-controlled boat, proving that automated vehicles were possible. Fast forward to today, and companies like Tesla, Google, and Uber are racing to make autonomous cars a reality. Once again, Tesla saw the future long before the rest of the world caught up. Baba Vanga, the blind Bulgarian mystic, made hundreds of predictions, many of which came true, but her most haunting, a cryptic warning she gave in 1989. She stated, "Horror, horror, the American brothers will fall after being attacked by steel birds. The wolves will be howling in a bush." Sounds like nonsense until you think about what happened on September 11th, 2001. The American brothers, could that refer to the Twin Towers, the steel birds, hijacked planes, and wolves howling in a bush? Was she referencing President George W. Bush? Many believe this was a direct prophecy of September 11th, made over a decade before it happened. But was it foresight or just a lucky poetic coincidence? You decide. What if I told you that the world's most accurate psychic isn't a person at all? The Simpsons, yes, the cartoon, has predicted the future more times than seems statistically possible. We're talking about shockingly accurate foresight, from smartwatches and the Disney Fox merger to, brace yourself, Donald Trump becoming president. The show depicted Trump's presidency in an episode way back in 2000. But it gets weirder. Years before the Higgs boson particle was discovered, The Simpsons had a scene where Homer stood in front of a chalkboard with an equation that later turned out to be nearly identical to the actual Higgs boson formula. How? So are the Simpsons writers time travelers, psychic masterminds, or is it all just a numbers game? Whatever the case, their eerie accuracy is impossible to ignore. History is full of people who seem to know the future before it happened. Some predictions were lucky, some were eerie, and some, well, they make you question reality itself. But what do you think? Are these cases of incredible intuition or something more mysterious? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more conceit that will keep you up at night. I'm Silva Fox. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Stay curious.